Hi all, this is Patabi. I want to cover on how do we approach a prediction use case in sports and do a deep dive into it. Now we are in the second week of French Open and the much awaited clash between Nadal and Djokovic scheduled tomorrow. We would be finger crossed on what is the chance of Nadal winning yet another French Open. With a winning record of 97.2, that is 105 wins out of 108 matches in French Open, and yet-to-yet winning record of 7 out of 9 against Djokovic in French Open, Nadal has higher probability of winning barring the injury and match time before the French Open. Now let's look it up as a prediction use case and see how do we approach it. The first thing is the data sourcing part. We need to collect the data to do the prediction. For this use case, we need to collect the ranking of the players before they played the French Open. Second, from past, what are the matches Nadal has played and his record in from 2005 to the till date. Now we have identified the data. The next step is do a web scraping and load into an Excel thing. Then comes a data preparation layer. What is the data we need to load into the Excel sheet? For predicting the French Open win, the key variable we might require is what is the player's current ranking before coming into the French Open, the number of tournaments he has played and won, and what is his performance in the hardcourt and clay court season before coming into the French Open. With the key variables available, we should be able to predict the target variable whether you will win French Open or not. Now that we have touched upon the data sourcing and data preparation part, let's focus on the actual prediction scenario. I will be leveraging K9 to walk through the prediction scenario. For any given prediction scenario, there will be 3 layers that will be used. One is the data exploration layer, bivariate analysis layer, and model building layer. In the exploration and bivariate analysis layer, we will see how the data is distributed, whether they have any missing values or outliers are there, and how the data is related to one another. This information will be useful to identify only the data that is required for the model building. Based on the scenario, we will either go for a regression or classification. In our case, it is a more classification scenario. Now we will go into the actual model building. Now we will focus on the actual workflow. First is reading the CSV file and see whether the data type is captured properly. If not, we can change the data type. Here I see all the data are captured properly. Next step is doing a data exploration layer where we analyze numeric and nominal values and see how the data is distributed. You can get the mean value, standard deviation and variance, and also in case of outliers we will be able to detect it. I will focus on the year variable where the min value is 2005 and max is 2022. That is the year where Nadal has played. The next variable, and you also see how many matches he has played on those particular years. The number of tournament played is critical. This is before French Open, so it varies from 11 to 4. Next I will concentrate on the categorical variable. You will have to see how many distinct values are there and does it make sense to use this layer. I see now most of these variables are well below 50 unique values, so we can use this for model building. Now we have a fair idea. Let's see how the variables are related to one another through correlation matrix. Here I am trying to compare. If the variables are closely related, then it is better not to take both variables. Now we know that number of tournaments played and won are highly correlated. We will not use both columns for our model building. We will use only one of the column. This will also avoid the multicollinearity issue in the model. After doing that, if we have to do any aggregated column or derived column, we can use a derived function here. Here we are calculating the clay coat points, which is a key variable. Once that is done, based on the above information exploration stage, we can remove the column that is not required for our model. This will give us a more accurate model. After this is done, we'll split the data into a trained data set and a test data set. Here we are doing 60-40 with a random sampling. We'll also see how the trained data set looks like, so that we can tweak what should be our training and test data sampling size should be. Once that is done, we'll pass on the data to the regression learner trained data set. We'll use win loss as a target variable and also use stochastic average gradient as our model logic. This will do the algorithm on trained data set and will give us the result. This will pass on to the test data where we'll use regression predictor. Here I will not be doing any changes here. If you have to see how my predicted column needs to be renamed, I can do it here. Once that is done, our actual end result should be whether Nadal will win the Roland Garros or not. So I'll filter only tournament that are Roland Garros and see how my prediction is working. If you see the confusion matrix, that's where I'll get the actual prediction. It is 100%. All the 6 tournament whatever we predicted is very accurate.